Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a video covering my thoughts and comparisons of the Hype 10 versus the Hype 4. One thing that you should know is the Hype 4, the shell actually is quite a bit smaller than the Hype 10. The Hype 10 has a very cool faceplate, one of the most unique I've seen on the market, just absolutely stunning and beautiful. It's almost like this galactic design with some sort of like solar flare or jellyfish looking thing. It is just very unique and very beautiful. And then you've got the Hype 4 that is also just very elegant in its own right, especially the white copy just looks absolutely beautiful. You can see my faceplate being the blue and pink just looks very, very cool as well. The only difference from an unboxing perspective, they do come with the same ear tips, the same carrying case, the same box, but the cable with the Hype 10 does have an interchangeable termination 352544. Right now, of course, I have the 4.4 balanced. This is not the default cable from the Hype 4. This is an Eros S cable, so you can disregard the cable, but the Hype 4 has become my daily driver for an IEM, so I do have a nice custom cable that I use with it. Now, in terms of the difference between the Hype 4 and the Hype 10, one thing you guys should know is there is a different driver configuration. The Hype 4 has 2 dynamic drivers, 4 balanced armatures, comes in at $400. The Hype 10 has 2 dynamic drivers, 10 balanced armatures, and comes in at $900. So the quality of the drivers in both are exceptionally good, but of course the Hype 10 does have 2 very high-quality drivers, Knowles Ultra Tweeters for the upper region, and then the mid-range is Sonian. The bass utilizes Sonian as well, and then it also has dual 10mm composite diaphragm drivers in isobaric configuration. So high-quality drivers, and it definitely shows through and comes through in a music playback on both of these sets. For music, I have today just gone through and finally had a chance to sit down and listen to the new Kanye album, and the differences between these 2 sets is just blatantly obvious and apparent. It hits you in the face when you swap between the 2 sets. The bass experience on the Hype 10 just being more textured on the Hype 10 in comparison to the Hype 4. The Hype 4, for its price point, the texture in the bass is exceptional, but you definitely get a bit of a bump in the bass, and more of a punch in the bass with an increase in the texture and kind of a speed of attack as well on the Hype 10. And it definitely stays true to its intended tonality. You can hear slightly more coloration and just a tighter bass response, I think, on the Hype 10 in comparison to the Hype 4. Within a track that has bass-heavy instruments and percussion, the separation and layering on both these sets is great, but you definitely pick up more separation, more layering on the Hype 10. It's easier to hear things going on and separate them in a track on the Hype 10. The mids on both the Hype 4 and the Hype 10 are beautiful. I would say there's a slightly more natural timbre on the Hype 10. It's very clean, very natural sounding. I would think more analytical sounding on the Hype 10 in comparison to the Hype 4. Male and female vocals are absolutely stunning. Female vocals certainly stand out more in a track. Even male vocals, again, the separation of kind of parsing out the vocals away from different instruments and the percussion, definitely easier on the Hype 10 than the Hype 4. Just more distinct separation and layering for that region, and even brass instruments and string instruments like violins coming through with more clarity, more emphasis on the Hype 10, easier to separate out. So if you're listening to like orchestral music, definitely much more beautiful on the Hype 10. Taking these into single-player games that utilize those types of soundtracks, Japanese RPGs, etc., the music listening experience, I think, on the Hype 10s is definitely going to come through a little bit better for those sorts of gaming experiences. And that's not, again, to say that the Hype 4 is not absolutely stunning. It is. I just think that the instruments being more separated and more elegantly placed in a track within a little bit of a bigger stage, just slightly bigger on the Hype 10, it just comes through very nicely. The presence region on the Hype 10, the treble is clear and refreshing in music. We'll get to gaming soon. And definitely, I think that's the biggest difference of the 2. There's better separation, slightly better stage again, and better technical detail within the presence region and the treble region. It's crisp, it's airy, whereas the Hype 4 definitely feels less analytical for a music playback in those regions. Now, that all sounds absolutely fantastic for what would or should transition over to a gaming experience. But one of the biggest inhibiting factors on the Hype 10, when you get in game, the stage does feel ever so slightly larger. The depth perception's fantastic. The imaging is fantastic. And they definitely make it onto the Wallhack certified tier list, but they're going to fall under the Hype 4 because that presence region, so gunshots and explosions, it becomes a little bit spicy, and the separation and the layering aren't quite there. They stand out more than footsteps, so it becomes a little bit just overwhelming when you are in a third-party, fourth-party situation. It actually remains a little bit easier to parse things out and hear things happening around you, in my opinion, on the Hype 4. The Hype 10, you'll notice almost instantaneously when you take these in-game, gunshots sound loud, overwhelming, explosions the same. And again, just that lack of separation when those things are going on, I do think it's going to fall slightly under the Hype 4. I think the elevation and footsteps on the Hype 4 for tac shooters, as well as things even like Apex Legends, I prefer the Hype 4 for those purposes as well over the Hype 10s. And I do think that the imaging is just as good on the Hype 4s. Again, that depth perception, the stage opens up a little bit more on the Hype 10, but it's so close on the Hype 4 that for it to do all of the other things better during gunfights and gunplay, the Hype 4 is just, I think, the better option at half the price. Both of them on the Wallhack certified tier list. The Hype 10 is fantastic. If you like it or the sound of it more for music purposes, it's definitely recommendable. But for over half off, the Hype 4 is definitely my pick. I think they are just an absolutely stunning IEM. Right now, again, my main daily driver over the Canon 2s. I think they just work better for music, sound better, more fun, more of a smooth listening experience, one that just sounds really, really good. So my preference between the two is definitely going to be the Hype 4 at over half the price. I think the thing you'll notice again the most, though, when you do transition from one and the other to music, it's more of a difference, more of a noticeable effect for separation of instruments and things like that. Just listening to Back to Me from the new Kanye West album, percussive hits, cymbal strikes more detailed and separated within the track. Just things are more easy to place in a stage on the Hype 10. But again, transitioning to game, I just don't have that same effect. The Hype 4s just perform absolutely phenomenally. And then again, that reduction in that upper region with gunshots, explosions, it just takes that kind of sizzle, that spiciness away during intense gunfights, and just becomes way more easy to pick out the footsteps and the audio cues happening around you. So I give the edge to the Hype 4 still for gaming. If I had to say on my Wallhack certified tier list, again, I need to get a spreadsheet done. I'm going to make it my mission to do that for you guys. But the Hype 4, I would put at like a B+, and the Hype 10 would be around a B. So I'm going to try to work on that list for you guys. We're going to get there. But the Hype 4 is just absolutely stunning for $400. So guys, right now in February 2024, my main daily driver, IEM, for both music listening and competitive gaming is the Hype 4. My main headphone is the HD 490s. That's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope it helped. If it did, please leave a sub to the channel. See you guys in the next review. Peace.